Hi, Catherine. Welcome to our Tech 10 series, talking to experts in technology about trends and topics that are on everyone's mind. So, of course, we're talking about AI today. Great to have you with me as one of our leading experts in AI.
Thank you very much, Mike. It's wonderful to be here.
AI is here to stay and extremely relevant for business and technology leaders. Do you agree, or do you think it's overhyped?
I do, actually. I think that a year ago or 18 months ago, a lot of conversations with businesses did feel like a huge amount of hype. Now I think that's completely changed and organisations are starting to be much more practical. I think that the businesses that will succeed the most will be those that absolutely stay anchored in what am I trying to achieve as a business? What are my strategic priorities? Where in my value chain are there the greatest inefficiencies or upsides? And as a subset of those, where are the areas where data and AI can play a really big role to improve that?
One of the challenges for businesses, though, is there's so many different opportunities. AI can impact pretty much any part of their value chain or any part of their business. I think one of the real challenges is how do businesses know where to start?
I think that's right. And the right answer for where to prioritise will be different depending on the organisation. Technology of any kind, AI included, only has an impact for a business if people adopt it and use it. And therefore, working in an area where you've got business users who are pulling and crying out for help to do what they do better, faster, more easily than they otherwise could, is, for me, a key criterion where to prioritise. And risk is a key consideration as well.
I think there's a really interesting dynamic for businesses. How do they empower their users with these tools to use them in the way they want to and support agility, innovation, and personal enablement, versus how do they think about control and making sure that people aren't using it in a risky way?
You're right. As an organisation, you have to strike that balance between how do I create an environment where people can test, learn, etc., but also harness the learnings. You figure out what's worked, what hasn't worked, almost crowdsource those learnings from your thousands of employees. Yeah. Now, clearly, you need to do that in a risk-managed way. But I think most organisations will find that if you adopt an attitude which is, I want my employees to be more productive at what they do, and a solution-oriented mindset to helping them find the tools to do that and help them do that in a safe way, you're probably setting yourself up most for success.
I think that's absolutely right. I think you need that balance, don't you? You need some governance, some frameworks, but you also need to enable and empower your people. And that can help you think about what use cases to prioritise.
On the downside, I think if you lock down an organisation too much, it's actually counterproductive.
You'll fail to innovate.
Because, well, you'll either fail to innovate or you'll push everything into a space where it's being done hidden and the organisation can't see it happening, which is far, far more risky. Right. The second thing I'd say is, of course, your organisation needs to be aware of, be educated on, be taught about the risks associated with using AI. But equally, they need to be taught how to use it, how to get the best out of it.
And that's always been a challenge in technology. And the ones that were most successful in digital transformation were the ones that managed to bring the business and technology together, empower their people, and train people for successful results.
You described it as the ability for the business to come together with technology. And some organisations manage that tremendously well, but very often I still meet organisations where there's a lot of conflict, usually because of a lack of understanding between each other. And I often think there's a need for a translator role. Or one of my first bosses, people I work for, said to me, Catherine, you've got to remember your job is to make people's life, make it simpler and faster for people to do a better job. And if you're actually solving a problem that they've got, then they will want to use the thing that you've developed.
We're talking about so many possibilities in AI, so many use cases. I think we still see many organizations not ready to get the most out of AI, and that's particularly because they don't have, should we call them, the foundations. I mean, we always think of it as the data, the technology, and the operating model. Are you talking to organisations that don't have those things in place?
I'd add culture to that list as well, actually, of sort of foundational elements. Your AI is only going to be as good as the data on which it's built on. I tend to find there are two kinds of traps that organizations fall in with data. One trap is to not think about the foundations at all, but to be totally use case focused, which may bring together the data needed for that one use case, but not in a way that's connected to any other data. So as soon as you have the second use case and the third use case, you end up with lots of siloed data structure. It doesn't become sustainable. You're not creating a sort of data asset that can support an ecosystem of ever more connected applications. The other trap, by the way, is to go completely the other way. I need a massive data transformation, a data program before I can start doing anything. And that's the route to writing off 100 million of investment after 3 years. So let me ask you then. My clients often ask me for advice around how they set up technology to succeed with AI. I am not a technologist. How would you answer that question?
I'd say there's three dynamics you particularly want to look at. One is having a strong strategic direction. Two, you want to have a think about how do you enable flexibility in that so you don't get lock-in, and so that new tools and new platforms can be used and deliver opportunity. And three, I think the CTO is really going to have to worry about cost. I think cost is something that can be lost in the excitement on the innovation and the potential in AI. But actually, cost is going to be really challenging to model and track because it's so easy for AI to expand so quickly.
Your CFO almost needs to become your chief investment officer around thinking about how do you prioritize and where are you going to get the return on investment, and sort of being very quick to not use AI in the places where, frankly, it's not delivering the return.
So one of the buzz phrases that's out there at the moment and seems to have become more and more prevalent in 2025 is Agentic AI. Tell us everything about it and all the answers for how to use it.
I mean, the key difference is that an agent or agentic AI will not only look at the data and come up with the insights and present an answer, but it will then actually act on that insight, actually take a decision, potentially have the feedback loops, and is effectively doing a task. Take a very simple retail example. Let's imagine you're planning your promotions calendar. A non-agent version of that would provide a person with all of the insight around sort of which promotions might have what effect and sort of help them put it together. An agentic version will not only come up with that insight and design the promotions, but will also act on them, put them through into the system, measure them, learn from them, and have feedback loops to help inform the next one.
When I look at what's happening in the software engineering space in terms of agents, they can develop applications for you. You can effectively have conversations with them about what's working and what's not working in that application. And so you really see agents in software engineering now acting as team members, which is incredibly exciting for the speed and productivity with which you can develop applications.
Yep.
So clients are talking to us all the time about AI. What are the main things that you're seeing are the asks or challenges from clients to us?
We'll often work with clients on where is the value from AI. So let's identify where the value opportunities are. Let's identify the use cases. The second type of thing we'll often help clients with is a little bit more of a maturity, readiness. How do we set ourselves up for success, which it would include looking at the technology, for example. It would certainly include looking at data. It would look at the organisation. It would look at the culture. Sort of, have we got the operating model to succeed? Once a specific area or use case has been identified, helping our clients to accelerate the pace with which they find that. So we have engineers, we have data scientists that we can sort of land in an organisation to very rapidly develop the proof of concept, develop the MVP, start getting it in the hands of users. I think our work tends to span all the way from value creation, planning, through to execution and delivery. And then we work with clients to help them scale that.
So, Catherine, wonderful to talk to you about AI. I've really enjoyed this conversation. It's something I'm unbelievably passionate about as a technologist, and I know you absolutely are too. So thank you very much for your time.
Thank you. It's been great fun. Thank you, Mike.